Welcome traders. Welcome back to another live trading session. Friday NFP week, and it's holiday time in some areas, but still we have some move in the market coming up with NFP, and also it's a great time for learning. This is what I focus on here today. Thank you very much. Good day. Welcome. I hope that you guys ready for learning session and also trading session, because this is NFP, and as soon as the data release, we see some instrument are not open today, but what is open, all those volume could be concentrated on that. So this is a great time for learning and trading together. And beginning this is Friday, last day of trading week, pretty relaxing time, quiet time, but a great time for honing the skill, right? Honing the skill. Let me tell you before I begin this session, why this session is so important. You see that sometimes we think that, okay, this is a slow day, holiday time, this session is not important. Keep in mind, this session will make the difference. The session will make the difference. When I was when I was early in the university, so I saw that everyone study, everyone do everything, everyone complete their projects and all the tasks, but few limited numbers, only few numbers, when there is a closure, holiday closure, 1 or 2 or 3 members doesn't even go home. I saw that their light is on in the boarding or hostel room, and when the results come out, they remain at the top. So this time when everyone is not doing what you are doing will make that difference, will create that fractional difference. And also that those who plays in the village, that every village has a soccer team, and on a country level soccer team, right? So the difference between the village and the country level is sometimes less than 5%. If the skill you need to play on a village team is 50%, the skill you need to play on a country level probably is 55%. That 5% makes everything, and that develops when everyone is just give up, quite, or probably not doing it. So this is the effort here, guys, will make a big difference. And we'll be looking at here also a great day for learning and trading. Thank you very much. So first of all, today we are looking at so far on USD JPY. We'll be looking at primarily today currency pairs. We'll be looking at USD JPY, Euro Dollar, British Pound US Dollar, and AUD USD, 3 major currencies. And also we can look at if anything coming up with higher possibilities as GBP JPY. But I will be, because I see that there is a potential on USD JPY, and even we can open a swing trade if needed, and we will keep it open till the next week. So if you love to keep open trade over the weekend, this is also a great time. So here I'm looking at in this zone. If you look at, this is a trend line, and in this trend line, from the bigger picture perspective here, that if you look at, this is USD JPY, and first of all, I'm looking at in this market on USD JPY, we will be looking at technical as well as the fundamental, and we may open a trade that will keep open till the next week, because next week is another big week after the NFP, and the market is eventually could be again pretty volatile here. and therefore we will be looking at entry opportunity today on USD/JPY, and we'll keep it open. If the market doesn't move much, then we'll keep it open. If the market moves, we will be closing. We will also both look at the lower time frame and also the higher time frame for entry. And first of all, we'll look at the key support level, because it's an uptrend at the moment. I will be only looking to buy here. And if you're buying or selling on USD/JPY, let me know. And then we also will be looking at, after the key support level, at what level we will be looking for entry. So going back to the weekly chart to see that overall. And once we do the technical analysis, also we will be looking at the fundamental and also the sentiment, where the market is currently heading in terms of the sentiment. And we will be going through that. So looking at first of all the weekly here on USD/JPY. So if you look at the USD/JPY, you can see that this is an uptrending market structure. So you can see that it's an uptrend, and in that uptrending market structure, so if you look at here, this is an uptrending market structure, and with this uptrend, and now in that uptrending market structure, series of high and low, and with this series of high and low, the market is showing up that this is in a bullish trend going back to the upside. Now, understanding trend, guys, either you are trading on USD/JPY or in anything, right? Anything will give you much better understanding of how the market is doing. And by the way, if you guys looked at, we discussed in our previous session, and this week, this is NFP. And at the end of this session, after the NFP trade, after the data release, as I promised in the beginning of this week, that from today's live session, as this is NFP, few limited dedicated member will be able to join the premium group. So make sure you like this stream and stay hopeful here. In the premium group here, exclusively you can access the live signal trading that I am using, all my courses as well as the strategies, but we have only few limited spots each week, so make sure you stick till the end to see how many spots available. If you cannot join today, but keep watching the live session, and that you can definitely some in the upcoming week, whenever spots available, you can join there. So let's first of all focus on trading education, and then we will be also looking at further details of this later after the NFP data release. So if we look at this weekly market structure, that you can see this is the weekly price action, and what we look at in this weekly market structure, you can see that from this weekly price action, it's a series of high and low, and there's a weekly doji followed by another weekly bullish engulfer followed by another weekly price action that you can see. So from the weekly, this is an uptrending market structure. There's no doubt about it. And understanding trend, as I mentioned, higher time frame trend and also the lower time frame trend is key, because when you trade, when you align the higher time frame with the lower time frame, you have much more higher possibility than anyone else. Guys, keep in mind that trading is all about edge, right? Edge. So look at the edge here. Edge means that, very simple. We think that trading, you need a very complicated strategy. You may need complicated strategy if you are trading in a very higher volume. For example, if you are trading, when over a few $1 million, you might need a complicated strategy because you might not get enough liquidity. You might not fill your orders. You need to gas many of the trade beforehand. But as a retail trader, let's say you are trading on 100K, even a 400K account, you can easily trade with a simple strategy. Okay, and simple strategy is the best strategy. Let me tell you guys, this one simple lesson will tell you how trading works. That's what I always tell you. To be a trader, you even don't need any education. Okay, you still need to go to school, university for being, thank you very much, but to be a trader, okay, you need nothing. Why? Because trading is simple. It just now one step, like just one click. It's the simplest thing you can do. Let me tell you. So if you look at, this is a coin, right? Everyone knows a coin, 50 cents, 10 cents coin. There is a head, and then there is a tail. Okay. Now if you flip a coin on the air, no matter how million times you flip a coin on the air, you cannot get anything other than head or tail, right? It either has to land on a head or has to land on tail if you are using flipping a coin. Now, how does that relate to the trading? When you are opening, when you are trading, you have only two buttons in your trading account: buy or sell. Regardless of whatever you do in trading, you either have to buy or have to sell. You can't borrow, you can't, you can't do anything else other than buy or sell. So if you look at the head on tail, that buy and sell, same thing. So either you need to buy or sell. Therefore, the market either will go up or it will go down. It might go sideways, but it never be able to go sideways forever. It has to go in one direction at some point. So you got it. That means either you buy or sell. So now if you open 5,000 trade without knowing anything, just buy or sell, buy or sell, like a flipping a coin, right? Now, if you do that 10 times, you might be wrong almost 8 times, or you might be right 8 times. But interestingly, according to statistics, mathematics, and probabilistic formula, because the probability is mathematics, yes, GBP you will be looking at. Yep. So if you look at 5,000 flip, then you end up coming almost nearly to 50% head and 50% tail, right? So it's that simple. Now what you need in addition to that? The addition that you need, nothing else, just an edge to bring that 50% to over 60% or more. That is all. Now keep adding each of that edge. One of the biggest edge that you can add is trend. So once you use the trend in your favor, you are almost nearly to 60%. Add more confluences, support, resistance, moving averages, Fibonacci, anything that will give you more edge. But the trend, if you only use trend and use ATR for stop loss, you still have significant edge in the market at any point in time if you use a higher risk reward. So simple, right? The only thing that you need is belief that it's simple and dedication. Dedicate yourself for 1 year at least in this live session. I can promise that you're not gonna fail, okay? Dedicate yourself for at least 1 year. Why not? See that there are many education certificate 2 or 3 also need at least 1 year, which is much less than a diploma. A diploma need 3 years, then work experience, and then struggle to get a job. And then once you get a job, still you have a lot of pressure to lose the job, still struggle to pay the bills, right? Why not dedicating yourself for 1 year to become a consistently profitable trader? If you think that, if you believe that, then don't miss each session, and also take the additional advantage today coming. Maybe 2 to 3 members we can take today from here in the premium group, because as I mentioned, I have only limited numbers. I give the full attention to who are in the academy when I'm trading with them. So that's why smaller number, better to teach them properly. So if you are lucky one of them, then you will be there today with me after this NFP session. So we'll be looking at. But before we go to that, again, I'm coming to the analysis here. USDJP, we saw that weekly, this is a bullish market, an uptrending market structure. Now, here I'm looking at the daily chart on USDJPY. This is the daily price action, right? So with this daily movement, you can see that from this level, thank you very much, about gold yesterday at 4603 and hold it until 4680. Okay, so gold, so you bought gold. Okay, gold, I am at the moment, I'm little, still I didn't do the full analysis because gold is close now, but I think gold might not come as very strongly bullish. So we will be looking at, I will be doing a gold analysis for next week, but it might remain in a range. So what is your take profit error? 4680. Oh, so your take profit is very near. So I think you're gonna get that hit. I thought that it's a big buy. Is you are almost near there. So yeah, very high chance of getting the profit target hit with you. I also had a running trade on gold buy, which is still running. Mine was 4691. So yeah, it might in the beginnings might bounce here back little upside. We'll go through that on gold for the next week's analysis. But at the moment, you are looking at here in this market as NFP coming in, just a matter of still on. Sometime it just moved to the next week, but this week there's no shutdown, so we might see that coming. All right, so here is now looking at sir, can you check GU please? Okay, no problem. Thank you. We will be looking at GU, and also we will be looking at GJ. Okay, because today is the currency day. We'll be looking at all of this. Okay, now what we are looking at here is that, okay, so if you look at, this is few narrow dodgy candlestick pattern in that area, and as we mentioned that from the daily, USDJPY is, yeah, the spread is high, but with an New York session, it might come down. Okay, until the spread is coming lower, we will not be entering the trade. We will keep focusing on education because there is a low volume. Okay, so with the low volume, the spread is high. But with NFP, it's gonna come down, because I have I've gone through many of times the similar kind of trade. So with NFP, there will be volume. I already took profit with gold yesterday at 4680. Thank you. Okay, so cool. That's good. Good point. Mine is still running one trade, which is 4691. Hope that will bounce back on Monday. Okay, so if you look at this, this is a, now we are looking at, as I mentioned, with the NFP, there will be some volume coming up. Okay, very higher chance. And I'm also looking at now the calendar, and also will be looking at the sentiment, because sentiment also is gonna play out. Every single day we see that the market is really having, not only now, every moment. If you look at some, the first, I remember that when I begin my trading, I used to follow a very experienced trader, okay, smart money trader. So you are saying one day that his that large account has blown as soon as there was, like somewhere something breaking news came, someone did something somewhere, and then suddenly his account got blown. And then I start to pay attention. Okay, it's so important that always to keep watch on what is major things happening. Even if we have stop loss, okay, keep in mind, traders. Why? Because as a scalper, we use a small. So what's the risk? Let me tell you guys. As a scalper, we use. Let me explain also the reason. These are the real education. It's gonna, because you might see the results, but it's very difficult to know the reason. Okay, why this happened the way it happened. No, it's very because you let's say you are trading. You're a very good trader. You got education. Suddenly your trading account looks like that. But if you don't know the reason, why that happened, it's very difficult for you to eliminate that part or adjust in that strategy. Now the market will close as usual. Just few instruments due to the public holiday in some areas. Few instruments are not trading. Okay, especially metal and oil. Currency is on. Okay, now what was that? Let's look at why the reason for even if you have a stop loss, if sudden breaks out, sudden very high impact news comes, why the market do that and how you can prevent that. Firstly, guys, keep in mind that let's say you have 10 pips stop loss, right? Now, as a scalper, we use 10 pips stop loss. It's a very common phenomenon. Like we use a smaller stop loss as a scalping. Now, your entry here, your stop loss here. Now, the market will never just straight move off where you have bought, right? Let's say you bought here, and then you put your stop loss. Once you open the trade, the market is here, right? Maybe halfway at 5 pip minus, but it's a very high chance that the market will go up. All of a sudden, when there is a breaking news, the market might go up exactly from the point onwards, but it might take you out of the trade. And not only will take you out of the trade, if your risk is 1%, sometime you might see that 5% minus. It's a massive drawdown that you could see. Sometimes 5%, sometimes you might see even a 10% drawdown. That's a massive drawdown, right? And it's unwillingly. That can happen very easily with the high impact breaking news. Okay, so why now? Let's understand that what's the reason and how you can trade that. Thank you very much. Okay. Welcome. I know that you're with us long time and I appreciate that. Make sure guys also you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel. Press the notification bell, and of this premium session, of this live session after the NFP, as I promised earlier this week, we'll be taking few numbers on the premium group. So don't miss out to stick till the end, because the one who will stick till the end are the most dedicated, and from them, not all, maybe few, 2 to 3 members will be able to get into that. So but each week we take some members upgraded to the premium members. So if you miss today, still there will be later. Now here, let's understand that what we're discussing, it's the market is going to go up, but you're gonna might be minus 5% or minus 10% gone down with that. So what is the primary reason for this? Let's understand that is the spread gap become wider only when the volume drops. It depends on volume. Okay, so when the volume drops, the bid and ask price goes higher. Can you know also why this goes higher? Okay, it's very simple. You see the bid and ask price, these are very internal education, but it's gonna change the way you look at it. So where the bid and ask price come from? So bid and ask price is, let's say you are buying the market. That's why I told you guys today is very important for education. So don't miss out today's lesson. This will open your door for learning, trading, anything. Other crypto, gold, forex, stocks, anything. So when you are buying, okay, and when you are selling. So when you are buying the market, you are not directly trading with the other side of the seller. Because if you buy something, someone has to sell that instrument to you, right? So in between, you have, either bank or broker or anyone has to take that order from you and convey it to the seller. So in between that, those who is executing this order, taking this time to analyze the chart and all of that, there is a margin for them, which is called the spread, right? So bid and ask price. Now, it's not manual, right? It's automatic. So with this bid and ask price, the more volume, thus the gap becomes smaller and smaller. Why? Because if more people taking the same order, like more volume, it's easy for them to convey, right? They have a lot of choice to so the gap becomes smaller. But when the suddenly volume drops, let's say before 4 people was buying and selling, so they have a lot of choice. Now suddenly became 1 people. So therefore, since the volume dropped, the overhead cost for carrying this order from one side to the other increases, and that creates that spread, higher spread. Especially when it happens sudden, because these all are automatic and no one is doing manually. Suddenly it gaps a lot. Why? Because with the high impact breaking news that are very high impact, suddenly the market is driven by high level of fear, panic, buying and selling. And when suddenly that happens, suddenly volume drops and spread gaps get for a maybe fractional second, but that's enough to take you out of the trade. Because probably your standard spread is 2 pip, it might suddenly even go to 50 pips sometime, which is 20 pip, 10 pip, sometime might go even a 50 pip, and that spread gap will take you out of the trade. And even if you have a stop loss, okay, when that spread gap happen, let's say your stop loss is at 5 pip, if the spread goes to that 50 pip down, then despite you have a stop loss, it's gonna consider all of that as minus, because your trade will be closed here, not at your stop loss. Okay, so your trade will be closed at where it expanded, because usually stop loss plus spread, then your trade will close. Keep in mind always how many people you put a stop loss plus that spread will be in the stop loss. So your trade will be closed here, which is, if your, let's say 10 pip is 1%, then if it goes to 50 pip, you're gonna get 5% minus on this trade. And if it is a large account, that's a substantial amount of could be loss. That's why always keep eye for high impact breaking news. That will definitely be able to helpful to you as a trader. And I hope that that makes sense to you. Let me know if you have any question on that. I like your comments always. Thank you very much. Now we are, if we look at the calendar, which is coming 11:30, average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rates. So 3 major breaking news coming. As the market is coming down here, back below, right? We are looking at now for a deeper move, and then to look for buy. And we have 4 minutes for this candle to close. I'll be just back in less than a minute. track. Thank you very much. Welcome. Okay, so that being said, we see that from the technical point of view, we are here looking to see that potentially long-term bullish. But if you look at here, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart here, and there's a support in that intraday perspective, which support is important to look at. And with this support, the market here, there is a previous resistance turning support from this level here that you can see from this support has gone back to the upside to this neckline. And with this neckline here that you can see, the market may if you look at here in that area, this is a pure fair value gap. Now the market might come back below here to retest this fair value gap. And if we see the market has come to fill that fair value gap, if we see the market has dropped to that level to fill that fair value gap, we could see that this market eventually to come back here and then to return again back above to create a new higher high in that area. So that being said, in this zone, this is a support, there is a consolidation, and current support is here that you can see. And with this support, the market has reached to that level. It's slowly coming down back below. We may see that the market to, if you look at here, to drop here back below. So this is the zone that I'm looking at for USD/JPY to come down and then to reverse back below. And that is what here I'm looking at for this price action to come back below and then to fill that zone and then to reverse back again to the upside here to create a new higher high in this market. So this is our plan here. Not gonna sell because at any point you can expect it to reverse, as coming up NFP just matter of 30 minutes. And once we see that NFP has been published, that released, we can look for possible entry. We will not be at the moment entering before NFP, but we are looking at to see the market clearly pre-NFP so that we have a better understanding of the market structure. Now in the meantime also, we will be looking at the current the market sentiment. What's your idea today? What's the market sentiment here? Got any idea? Trump military hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridge next. So there is a Truth Social post from, okay, so let's from Donald J. Trump. Let's see. Our military, the greatest and the most powerful by far anywhere in the world, hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridges next, then electric power plant. New regime leadership knows what has to be done and has to be done fast. President Donald J. Trump. So there was, I think there was some attack that was been explained, which is categorized as a yellow folder. So, and I think that is 9 hours ago. So that time the market just opened what else we have here that we can look at for potentially for the NFP. Where's the latest one here? Okay, so some of the this is I wouldn't consider it as a red folder. Now, with the current, let's say that if other areas that have anything that we can consider before the NFP. Has any thought on that? What's your bias on NFP today? And I'm posting a poll here to see what you guys are up to. So we will be considering based on the USD JPY. Do you think that USD JPY is going to go up or down with the NFP? That means a spike up or down. So bias on USD JPY. So I have shared a pool. You guys look at, and in that pool you can cast a vote to see that what majority of the members are thinking on that. And as you can see, more often, interestingly, the poll results come out to be correct in terms of the volatility. So you can let us know what's your thought on dollar yen. I have shared with you the poll. Now, along with dollar yen, also you are looking at euro USD to see that where the market is heading at the moment. So if you look at the euro USD, now euro USD price action, don't you think it's highly bearish at the moment, euro USD? How many of you trade USD JPY? How many of you trade euro USD? If you look at the weekly price action on euro dollar, guys, today euro dollar looks to me that highly bearish. Now if you look at the monthly price action, once the candle close, so far of this monthly resistance line, the price action has shown that the downtrending move on USD JPY while we is looking, euro dollar is bearish from the monthly. And if you look at the weekly here with the upcoming NFP, we might see potential direction here as the market tested the 10 EMA on the weekly. Now the daily price action that you can see, daily price action here that you can see here, this is the daily bearish red candle. Now this daily candle, traders, with this bearish engulfer on the daily, it has quite a bit of significance in it. What is that significance on the daily on euro dollar? Can you guess why this daily candle is important? This one trick will increase your probability a lot. So keep that in mind. I'll show you also more examples on that. You'll find rarely this kind of price action. Engulfing candle. Well done, very good point. It's an engulfing candle. Not only that, also it has other properties that makes it a big difference. You see that blue 20 exponential moving averages, golden 10 exponential moving averages. This one started up, closed back below. It's a massive bearish engulfer with crossover of both of these EMS, has given a very higher possibility this market to come down. So you can look at both euro dollar and USD JPY for us to be able to maintain the market structure here. All right, so we got it. Now here's the support, and on Euro USD we may see that this market eventually to cross back below. Okay, and with this break below here, we might see this market to trend and continue to come down here back below. So we're looking at here in this market, and with this bearish price action here in that area, and I'm looking at on euro dollar to trend and then to continue to drop back down here to the support level. And with this, if you look at this daily price action, and with this daily price action here, this is bearish engulfer, and from the weekly and daily, the market is showing that pattern in that area. Now I'll be looking at the lower time frame on euro dollar with the upcoming NFP. If we see that USD JPY is potentially going up, we could see that euro dollar is potentially coming down here. I hope that makes very clear sense here. So therefore here I'm looking at of this level from this zone, it's a single move pullback, and you can see that another move here. We could see potential bearish move on Euro USD, and that's why this is the daily market structure. This is the daily price action, and for us to be able to trade on Euro USD, here we are looking at this downtrending market structure, and especially going here, potentially creating a double top or any kind of bearish rejection can give us a confirmation for that correction is over. We might be able to now enter a trend trade along the way after the NFP coming up in just a matter of, if you look at, we are almost 15 minutes away from this data. I'm looking forward to enter any trade along the way. How about the trade engine? So this one here, there's a buy trade here on trade entry. I didn't enter those because of the low volume. So again, keep in mind traders, this tool, this indicator, not gonna give you the volume reading. Okay, for example, I had a trade alert, but I will not be entering this trade here, right? So it's gonna generate the trade regardless of the market condition, because this tool only will consider the candlestick pattern and the strategy, not the timing, and that's what manually you need to screen out if you are using it. For example, if you see that a trade during a low volume session, do not take it. Better to take always that only in a high volume session. So in between the London and NY session, and not in a, try to look for the market that is trending. You see that when you catch those trend trade, it's gonna be big move. This one is a massive move. This one is a massive move. So whenever you see that bigger trade, catch those one. Do you think BTC/USD will go down trend? We'll be looking at some of them here, and so looking at BTC/USD, daily price action on BTC/USD shows bearish here. So BTC/USD looks downtrend, but there is one thing, we are almost still it's showing 2 days for the weekly close. Though it is in a downtrend, see how the weekly candle has closed. That's why I always look at the multiple time frame. If you look at the multiple time frame, you will see a completely different picture. So what is that on the weekly on BTC/USD? You see this is the green move started, and it reached there and dropped to the same level, right? And now this weekly candle close here, it's at this level. Now if this weekly candle, at least for this weekly candle, is very highly unlikely that this weekly candle will be breaking below. Highly unlikely, not impossible, but highly unlikely. That means this weekly candle might test this support and could try to go back again for another retest of this weekly high. So if you keep that in mind from the daily, that you can see today the market is in this narrow range. And so what BTC/USD could do here, traders, is that it might go for, you see this red zone, this is an imbalance. It might go for a feeling of this imbalance. That could it take back here and could come down, or it might go along this zone and then can come down here. So if we look at the trade entry engine here, you can see this is a bearish doji here in that area, and here is also bearish doji, and both of them has come out perfectly fine from the 4 hour. You can use this tool even on the swing trading. Okay, it's better if you are using this tool, because I have both this one and also automated version. So for lower time frame, if you are a beginner, then I would suggest you to use little higher time frame depending on your experience. Because if you're using the 5 minutes, for example, you may have 1 minute or 2 minutes to make a trading decision to decide either to buy or sell. Because it's gonna directly give you stop loss and take profit target as soon as the candle close. And also you can get a trade alert from this trading view. But the only thing that you need to make sure that based on your how many people stop loss, you are not blindly buying or selling, taking a risk management. That means lot sizing, limiting your risk. That is what you need to do. I will be looking at. So, and to get access to that, by the way, this is only premium only tool. And we have, as I mentioned today, from this NFP, few members to take on the premium group where I'm training every day. All my trade I'm sharing, regular analysis, and also courses available, which is from this Zoom, from this NFP. At the end of this NFP, few numbers depending on how many spots available can be able to join. So make sure you stick till the end of this session to take that opportunity. Also, you can stay connected joining the free Telegram here, where also there is a link for the Zoom session on Sunday. Will be exclusive extended session, and from this session as well will be few members to join, as this is a dedicated only traders group, not for the one who just want to spend some time, but to be serious as a trader. Only you can get access to that. Thank you very much. All right, so BTC/USD, this might be the situation, but for here, before the weekly close, chances for this market to go up again. You see there is a higher low, and then we could see that coming down. This is the analysis on BTC/USD. Going back to USD/JPY and EUR/USD. If you look at here, EUR/USD and the BTC/USD, USD/JPY. So how about GU? GBP/USD and Euro/Dollar, same kind of analysis. So they are bearish. If you look at, this is the daily price action on GBP/USD, and that, if you look at that price action on the daily, which is forming daily bearish engulfer, and with this daily bearish engulfer, the market now, if you look at here, it's on a pullback. Now this pullback, we can see the price action is moving that up here. So on GBP/USD, we can see that if you look at here, this is, the market is in a trend, and off that trend, there is a resistance line, and we may see that the market is eventually breaking above, and after breaking above, we may see the market to come down back below. from the high to the low. So euro dollar and British pound US dollar, we see similar kind of market structure being created. For the USD/JPY, the possibility for USD/JPY also is higher for an upside bias. So we will be focusing on one currency because today is, that XAUUSD is close. So in this zone, which one you are looking at? You can share your thought. Do you prefer euro dollar, GBP/USD or USD/JPY before the NFP to look at? I would like to see majority of the members who is trading what. Do you trade euro dollar, GBP/USD or USD/JPY today? Mostly. I go with Euro USD and US. Okay, Euro USD. Anyone else with the Euro USD? We'll be looking at then Euro USD, and for a slow day USD is in terms of the volume is good, and also the daily bearish engulfer here, which is also showing that Euro USD might be remaining here bearish. Yeah, okay, yep, we are looking at. And if you look at here on Euro USD, we have 2 minutes for the data to show up. Countdown started, and I'm waiting for the data to come up, and we'll be looking at that entry. Thanks for joining here. Make sure guys you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Waiting for the data to come up, big more potentially coming with the NFP. We'll be excited to trade that one here. Okay. Come on. That's a massive drop. It's a massive drop. And you could see this, you can predict that movement of XAUUSD for the next week from this data, because okay, so come on, that's a big all right, so non-farm employment change is 178k. So the forecast was 65k, while the past quarter was minus 133k. So the forecast was 65k, more than double. So, and unemployment rate dropped to 4.3% from 4.4%, and average hourly earnings came to 0.2%, which is the major data has been showing very, very strong. So that potentially has given a massive bullish bias on, yeah, we can see that upside, and gold must be started to drop here. All right, so I know gold buy, no, gold not gonna be buy here at the moment, because there is a massive you see that DXY is up. So if DXY up, you see euro dollar is down, AUD USD is down. All right, we see the now pullback. So therefore gold is potentially to be bearish, unless we see that at the end of the day all those again reverse. But with the current price action, if the gold was open, you would see that drop. Okay, with the 4 hour here, you'd see that drop. So now looking at the euro dollar, so this is a, now we will be able to look for an entry, though there is a bigger spread. We can keep it a little wider stop loss, and with a smaller entry we will be looking at, and we'll be closing with a comparatively shorter move, but we want to see a high probability setup. That's what we're looking at. Euro USD, if you look at, it's a bearish engulfer. That bearish engulfer from this level here, a red bearish engulfer followed by a narrow green candle, followed by a big red bearish engulfer. So with this one here and with this one here, right? So with the two important bearish engulfer formation here, the market is just showing that euro dollar is in this downtrend. And because it's in the downtrend, if you look at, this is a neckline, which is resistance and support. So therefore, with this red long bearish engulfer, most likely you will see the market to remain here downside. And that is what we are looking at from this price action, to go down here to create a new lower low. Now if it is going up for this move, we will be able to sell this market in that area. I guess you guys have got that point. So there was a significant increase in the non-farm employment change. So that previously ADP non-farm employment change was big. Now this one is very high. So with this increased non-farm employment change, and also the unemployment rate dropped, they are correlated. Usually when you see the employment change, non-farm employment change is high, unemployment rate will drop. So that drop, that rise is a sign of stronger economic activities. Usually that's how you can look at how the DXY is reacting. So if you look at how do you read those data, sometimes it's difficult to read the data, right? Look at the USDJPY. I think that also potentially be hiking. Yep. So that's USDJPY has moved back up with as we discussed earlier. Now that also euro dollar shows bearish move. Now how do you interpret for the future movement? While we are looking at an entry, you see there is a break. This is a neckline. Now if the market goes up for another retest, we are looking at entry. I'm looking at euro dollar on the 5-minute chart for an entry. Are you guys ready for an entry? Say yes. While you are looking at an entry, you see that most said USDJP is gonna go up, and it's gone up. That's awesome. Now how do you interpret the data here? If you look at the euro USD, you can see that euro dollar from the bigger picture perspective, from the daily, you see there is a bearish engulfer. Now with the euro USD and also looking at the data here, okay, the non-farm employment change, also the unemployment rate, how does the market, the traders interpret this data? Guys, once you understand that, it's gonna be easy for you to trade not the news but the post news. Some trader only trade 30 minutes a day. That's all. And that 30 minutes usually after the news, or an hour a day max. Because after the news there is a volume in the market. And how can you take this fundamental data, use in your trading to trade the directional bias? This is timeless education. Keep in mind, guys. So how do you interpret, first of all, data to understand the market movement? So look at here, like how does the traders interpret? Guys, keep in mind that the market, mainly the currency moves based on, you know, that based on major interest rate decisions, right? But those interest rate decisions also directly influence, that means directly measured by this, the regular data, NFP, ADP, non-farm employment change, that are the indication of the stronger economy or weaker economy, especially during that time period. Doesn't have to be a whole economy, but during that period, how the economy performed. And then based on that, the other measure is taken. So the traders also take that data importantly for the directional bias, because they know that if the data coming like that, the market will go this way. So if we look at the ADP non-farm employment change and also the non-farm ADP as well as the non-farm employment change, when you see this higher positive data, that indicates that in that period the economy is stronger. Okay, there has been significant strong economic activities, so that brings confidence to the traders. And usually any currency having that positive data appreciate, right? Because the investors buyers will buy more on that. So that means because it's a dollar news, most of them will see the dollar news. If it is with other currency, the same way, because the traders and investors finding it that there is a confidence in job market as well as reduced unemployment, so they buy more on dollar index, right? So if dollar index is buying, that means dollar index is going up, and we can see that reflection. That's how we can look at the market to see that actually which way to trade that. Now, if dollar index is going up, we can see USD JPY, there is significant bullish move and spike to the upside. Now, if you look at the euro dollar at the moment, you can see the euro dollar has had a big drop. And if it is gold, you see that the market has dropped. Now, it's now pushing back here to the upside. Now, we want to see that deeper pullback, potentially to going back to where it started. And then we can look for sell here in that market. So I would be looking to sell. If you look at the 4-hour candle closing in few minutes, and we will be looking at potential selling opportunity here in that market. So you got that technical, you got that fundamental. Now you want to see that proper entry opportunity here. If you look at the 1 minute, I'm looking at the 1 minute on euro dollar here. We know there is a higher spread, but we will be entering tight stop loss with this not a very big move, because euro is not like the gold volatility. So you have to be also considering the spread here, and then we'll be entering in that time. All right, so let's wait for this price action to go ahead and retest this level, and then to return again back below. Okay, so there is up and down, that means sideways. Just I'm looking at here as for an entry, because you wanna the market because there is a comparatively lower volume, although we have a significant volume here now with NFP, due to the holiday closure, you want to enter in a very high probability zone. This is what I'm looking at here for that entry back in that direction here in this market. What is your spread, please? Okay, I haven't looked at it yet, guys, because I didn't enter any trade here today yet. So let me look at, because I'm busy in trading in market. So my spread on, we are looking at euro dollar, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, just moving in that zone. What is yours? Mine is rotating in that area. So around, on average, let's say 1.5 on euro dollar. Okay, so it's account type. You're using probably the ECN. I'm using standard account. So anyone has a standard account and see the spread, because I don't want to pay the commission. I open a lot of trades, so depending on which one you are using, that's fine. Anyone has a different, especially for, because I'm a scalper, I open a lot of trade, and if I pay a lot of commission, that just doesn't look good. So what I do, for each trade I have also allowance for the spread, so I take it from the market rather than paying as a commission. So if you, for example, if you are using ECN, then the trade will close, but each trade close there is a commission. But when I'm using a spread, I just take little higher profit target and take it from the market. So some also we are looking at here at the moment, you see that after this break it's on a pullback. We want to see that, especially if the market goes up here for this pullback, then I will be looking at sell in that area. Now this is the zone, if you look at with this movement, which is now in a resistance area, we might be able to find a sell. I will be using a pending, or if we see the market has dropped well. Problem, thank you very much. Okay, so we see 5 minutes bearish engulfer has formed, and this is a bearish price action now at the moment that we can see in this area after this false breakout. We'll be able to look for a potential sell here, and see that if we can, there's a bit of longer week getting rejection of the top, chances for this market to come back below to this support. It's very smaller move. Otherwise, if it is a gold, then we might see that from this zone here, we could see almost 40-50 pip. With euro dollar, it's less volatile, so you will have to enter from a very key level. So you have a decent move. Now, you see that there is a trend line being created. We could see that break of this trend line, and then the market might come below this support here. So at least from euro dollar, we need to target 8 to 10 pip minimum for us to be able to look enough. It's crossing that high, and so looking at again 15 minutes, if you look at this candle is nearly closing, and until we see a stronger bearish move here, better to wait. It might, as I mentioned here, it left this zone. This is a fair value gap on 5-minute chart, and it might be leaving that zone. This fair value gap could be coming further below, that you could see market structure is forming. We could sell here for a very short-term move, but this is gonna be very smaller move here. And 1 hour candle close coming. There was a significant drop here. With this candle close, we can expect some weak fill, right, from the 1 hour. But before this weak fill, it might move up for a pullback, and that is where for us to be able to see that pullback happen before we look at an entry. And you can see this is the 1-minute chart, there is a one red, one green candle. There was a gap open and there is no wick at the top, right? So the market is possibly to going up to fill that wick and then to returning back below here in that area. And that's where we are looking at here in this market. Thank you. The market is respecting the 1 minute trend line. Yes, this is what you can see in this area. So here it is respecting this 1 minute trend line. And what you could see here with the 1 hour candle close, if you look at this 1 hour candle closing, we might see initial move and then try to fill that zone. So once it managed to break above, that is where you can look for short-term sell. And we cannot expect a big move potentially, though this is the last day. There could be in NY session later. At the moment, waiting to see how the price action is forming with the 1 hour candle close. So with 1 hour candle close, we delete those levels here, and now very large rejection of this price action. The market is respecting the 1 minute trend line. Yes, we can see that here. This is what there is a break of this 1 minute trend line that you can see in that area, right? So with this break of this 1 minute trend line, as the market has broken out this 1 minute trend line, you can see it's going back again. So what you could see now, going back above this resistance and then to return. So we'll be placing here. The only way that we can, effectively place an order by pending order, because we need to take a smaller move. We can't expect bigger move here at the moment. It might be going for a bit of extended sideways movement. But what you have seen here, guys, you see there is a drop, and the market is now with a series of higher low with this trend line and from this structure, right? It has broken back below, and now it's going again back above here. And with this resistance that you can see, as the market is approaching that resistance above here, we potentially could see the price to go ahead, cross this high, and then to return potentially back below. So here we are looking at in that area to see that the market is potentially coming to this support. And from that perspective, if we look at, I will be placing a pending order below this level, because if the market breaks this support, we can take few pip here for this move. I really need to see at least 8 to 10 pip, otherwise not worth taking. So we want to see that it has gone enough move. So wait for that movement to happen. It is potentially creating a space here, because there is an extended drop. The more it will go up, the higher the possibility to come down here. Let's have a little bit of loud music for a moment. It's Friday, guys. Market is closing soon in 30 minutes. Okay, do not open until, because before the market closure there's an extended spread widens. There was a time I lost big during the market closure, so very important. Okay, it's moving in a sideway. We need to see that the market is going for a move. There is still low volume in the, yeah, this is what you can see, slightly lower volume, but that might be coming with, let's look at to see what's coming up. It's breaking out of that level. So it finally has broken out of this resistance line here that you can see. The market, there is still low volume. The market may probably feel FBG before dropping. Yeah, this is what you can see. It is approaching that FBG, and market is going to touch the order block it created before coming down, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, because it reached this zone, the chances for it to go ahead and fill this order block, fill this FBG is very high. Now with this, if you look at the market is at this FBG level, and from the 1 hour, as the candle close here, it bounce off this level. 4 hour perspective, the candle close, and now chances that it's gonna go ahead and retest this high. It may not leave a smaller gap here because it gone way above here. Chances for further upside, so we will see that, because in this zone here, this is a very critical level. We cannot sell from this, neither buy, because if you buy, it was a falling market. If you sell, it is here in that lower zone. So you want to see that it's gonna overextend it in one direction, especially this is the swing high, the previous one. Overextension above 1.1545 is a very good level for potential looking to sell, for at least for short term, and that can be a good area that we can look for selling along the way. We'll see that where it is heading. Patience is key, as I mentioned earlier. Welcome. And as I mentioned before, traders, from this live session, at the end of this live, each NFP, we take few members, as we have only few limited spots in the premium group to directly access the premium signal group as well as the indicators. This is the current indicator. I'm not using it here, is because of the volume. Now if you look at, this is a trade here, this is a trade here. For those who are using the indicator, this is a directly trade signal generator. It directly generates the trade alert from TradingView. The only thing that you need to make sure that you are doing the lot sizing and risk management properly, and then where you will be able to look at further if you want to use it for higher time frame or in any instrument. So there is a lesson with it, and that's why it is premium only tool. You will require only a free TradingView account to use that. I'm looking at here on this time frame. And in the meantime, here is the market crossed, and we can see some downside move trying to break below here. Keep watching. The key here, as I mentioned, is to understand, let's say if it is a regular trading day where there is a higher volume, we would be looking to see that this is a selling zone, right? That's how we trade. In a regular trading day, I would look to sell here. Now it's overextended back to the upside. There could be a bigger move. Still, you could see the market is coming to this support here again, which is when you trade gold, this is a big move. And that way you can look for the high probability trade. So that's what the education is the key here. This is what I want you guys to focus on. And in the meantime, traders, while we are progressing, as I promised in the beginning of the session, here now we will be taking in today's NFP live, we'll be taking we have 3 spots to take on the mentorship. This week's spot we had earlier, quite a few members joined, that has been filled. So this is a limited numbers only for 3, and I am sending a link now to join the full mentorship program here, which is, this link will be limited by number. So it's going to be only 3 members will be able to join. So those who will be able to join first, you are welcome to the academy, welcome to everything, welcome to mentorship, regular signal, webinar joining. But if the link get expired, then probably next one, or you can stay connected by joining the free Telegram, where also whenever spots available, we'll be posting an update. So premium signal and education group, and I'm posting it now on the chat. It will be only available for first 3 members to join. It's given guys. So you can directly join there, where you can find regular trade updates, watch list, and also all my strategies that I'm sharing in that group. So once you join there, you can look at the top of the group, pinned all those videos, that tutorial step by step from beginner to advanced trading, that you can learn and grow. Welcome. And this is a great way to, and so 3 members joined that I see, and welcome and thanks for joining. If you see that links expired, then every day I'm coming on live 5 days, regardless, unless, because I'm dedicated here to trade. This is what I love, and I believe you guys also love. So don't miss out any day live session, and randomly whenever the position opened, it's given here. So if you are dedicated traders, then I would encourage you to watch the live session. It's gonna make a big difference as a trader. Welcome. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And we have a chat group where our verified members regularly posting their feedback, their P&L. You can join there as well to experience how we are trading, and everything that you guys can see here is based on, this is our original trading strategy. Okay, and this is a unique academy in this whole entire industry you'll find here, because you guys see that I trade on live every single day. Very few people can trade on live. I talk less about what we have done. We are doing a great in our premium group. For those who members, you know that. But I more on focus on the current market, right? Because I trade on live. And that is what you need, right? Right education, right guidance, and then change the life. Yours and then others. So don't miss out any update that being posted so that you can reduce your learning curve. One of the biggest struggle that I have found traders is that learning curve. Every business has a business expenses, right? So if you want to start a, come on, I hope that sound is, if you want to start a coffee shop, you need learning curve, right? Few coffees will be wasted. So every business has a learning curve, business expense. Trading also has a business, but it becomes sometimes very hard because there is a strong emotion involved in trading. Here, the design in a way that learning curve is dropped to lowest level possible. That's why here you guys will enjoy, I'm sure that. And I think in these 4 days, we have opened each day 1 or 2 trades, and all of them, most of them winner in this live session. But today we see the market, we discuss it drop, but the volume is low, but we have learned a lot, and I believe you guys enjoyed this session here. And as coming up, also we'll be discussing the next week's move, what we could see here. The market here is bearish, so any update, should we sell? Look, I would look to sell. This is falling market, but volume is not satisfactory for me yet. So I would be happy to remain tradeless, and because I would like to see a high volume. Unfortunately, I have to go trade safe and have a weekend. Might see you in Zoom session. Thank you very much. There is a Zoom session coming on Sunday, and there will be also a link in the free Telegram. If you missed today's joining, then don't miss out the Zoom session, where also we'll be posting regular analysis. And also from that Zoom session, you'll be able to, few members directly access the group. So here, if you look at USDJPY, we saw there is a long wick. XAUUSD, we can see the market in that area. It's trying to break above here. Now this is some areas long weekend with us also here, Easter holiday, and I believe that you guys enjoying this holiday time. It's a great trading week and day. We had an incredible trading week. You guys can see the stats at the top. Almost, if I look at the current stats, where is that on the top stacks? Okay. So we had in a row quite a few winners, few losers. We had overall PEEP that it's way more than expectation. Not only that, also we have our system that we are trading every single day with hundreds of members, and I'm happy to display some of the results that you guys can see on the premium group, which you can check the trend line again. Guess you can redraw the trend line again, fit current market. The current trend line that you can see, there is a change in trend line. The trend line has broken here. But what you could see, because I have traded this holiday season many times, what I was be happy to sell this market if it bounce up, then we could have a decent number of PEEP for this move. What you can see here is that the market may come down to this support and then could go back. So it's just around 6 PEEP. Going back, there is a bigger lower volume, so it could be not a good place to enter, but good place to learn, because not only to trade, you also need to know when not to trade, right? It's more important than to know when not to trade, because if you trade when not to trade, that's gonna be a risky zone. So this is learning when not to trade. Now, that being said, we are progressing towards another trading week, guys. If you look at next week, it's a big week coming on, as after the NFP, quite a few packed high impact news, along with the current we see the US unemployment situation, March 2026, jobs payroll rose by 178,000 in March, more than expected. Unemployment at 4.3%. So there is a huge, that I would say, the boost in the employment, payroll, and also payroll rise means there has been more and more people has been employed, and dropped to 4.3% the unemployment rate, which has shown, we see that there is a reflection on the DXY move initially. Now that more up is coming next week. So this data is potentially reflecting in the upcoming week. Okay, so you could see that gold potentially dropping here. Most likely today gold is not open, but from the technical analysis, there is a higher possibility, guys, now for gold to be bearish. Now with the data, because there is a positive data on non-farm employment change, there is a higher data, lower on unemployment rate. So both of them, especially non-farm employment change, had a more than double. So which will potentially boost on DXY. And from the technical, this is the weekly doji, and this is a strongly bullish price action now at the moment. So if we combine the technical and the fundamental, you would see that DXY is here going back to the upside. So if DXY is going up, gold possibly to remain bearish. So technically also you can see that gold bearish. There will be a full multiple time frame analysis that I will be posting as a weekly forex forecast later today. It's gonna be on potentially tomorrow during the London session time, or around that time that I will be posting on the channel. So don't miss out that weekly forex. I will be in depth doing a full analysis on what we could see this week based on technical, fundamental, as well as the sentiment that coming up later in the market. So it was a great session, and let's keep trading and keep your profit in your trading account for wait for on Monday. Again, we will be crashing the market, trading live together. And thanks for joining here. It's a great session coming, guys, and I believe you enjoyed this session. It's Friday. Enjoy your time. Take your time break, reflect, recharge, and come back again with double energy to trade next week all those instruments that you will be trading in this live market. Thank you. You too. BTC USD might be going up for a pullback. It usually goes opposite of DXY. So we could see initial final drop, but there might be a pullback over the weekend. Thank you very much.